Hi, this is Natalie with Imago Day Yoga, here to bring you a 30-minute flow today. I'm really excited. I've been working us up into a 30-minute flow for the month of April, and so yeah, today is it. So if you're a beginner and you're just now joining me, don't worry, we go really slow, we take our time. I explain the poses as well as I can, and you can watch and maybe redo it later. Just take your time with it, that's fine. If you want to have more of a beginner experience, you could start at the beginning in my step-by-step playlist and just kind of pick and choose what you want to learn. But let's go ahead and get started with today's practice. And while I make my way back to the mat, if you could give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you happen to like my videos, I would really appreciate that, all right? So go ahead and find your seat. And it could just be a nice, comfortable seated position. You can put your hands on your knees, either up or down. And we're just going to start with some breathing. So big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Do that again. Big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Next, inhale, bring your arms up. Touch the palms overhead, and then we're going to do a side stretch. So drop the left arm down to your side and reach up to the corner of the room with your right arm, getting a stretch in the side body. Nice big inhale into the side. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, bring it back up to center. Touch those palms overhead and go the other direction. So dropping the right arm down, reaching up for the corner of the room with the left arm. Big inhale. Then inhale it back up to center, touching those palms overhead again, and then this time folding forward. Take a breath in that fold, big inhale. And exhale. Next inhale, go ahead and come back up. And then we're going to switch over into tabletop pose. So for tabletop, hands are directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips like a table. And then you're going to inhale to drop that stomach, lift your chest, look up. Exhale to arch the back, pulling the pelvis in and looking back towards your thighs. Inhale, drop that stomach, feel the spine move, big inhale. Exhale, go the opposite direction, arching that back, pushing away from the earth. Let's do another round. Inhale, drop that stomach, lift that chest, look up. Exhale, arch the back. And slowly come back to a neutral spine, and you're going to bring the big toes together. Keep the knees wide and sink the hips back toward the heels, finding our way into a child's pose. So if you don't find your hips all the way back towards your heels, that's totally fine. Just get as close as you can, and then sink the body down between the knees. Stretching the arms out in front of you, and breathe. Big inhales down the back. Exhale it out. And take a couple more big breaths. Release. Last one, big inhale. And let it go. Next, inhale, start to become active in your hands, spreading the fingers, pressing into the mat. Forearms come off the ground. Exhale. Then take another inhale. And as you exhale, walk the hands over to one side. So you're staying low in child's pose and just moving the body over a little bit to the side, getting another side stretch. Take a breath. Then inhale again to come back to center. And exhale, go the other way. Getting another side stretch, staying low in child's. Take a breath. Then inhale, bring it back to center. Relax it down, take another breath. And on the next inhale, go ahead and come forward into your plank pose. And the plank pose can have variations. So you might start off on your knees, maybe coming back into tabletop. That's fine either way. If you come into a full straight arm plank, that's great. And then push the hips up and back for down dog. So wherever you're at, you're going to come up onto your toes, tip those hips up and back, pulling the chest towards your thighs, creating like a V shape. Use your core to help pull more upwards and a little bit off the wrists. Make sure your fingers are spread wide, neck is loose, looking back toward the thighs. Keep breathing.
And it is totally cool to bend the knees to help get that lift. One more big breath, big inhale, and exhale. And you're going to inhale again, and this time as you exhale, you're going to start to walk the feet forward, keeping the hands kind of planted on the mat. You're going to come into a forward fold with bent knees. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it back down. Inhale, reach it up. Nice big stretch, palms together, and then down to heart center as we find our mountain pose. Mountain pose, you press firmly into the earth with all four corners of the feet. Pull up through the thighs, through the stomach, into the chest, lifting up through the whole body. You can roll the shoulders down and back, relax the neck, big breath into the heart, big inhale. Release. Keep taking deep breaths in mountain pose. And you can take a second to set your intention. Now that we've had a little bit of a warm-up, whatever that intention, maybe it's just to be present and enjoy the practice. And on your next inhale, you're going to take your arms up, getting a nice big stretch, and then forward fold. We're going to pause in our forward fold. Make sure the knees may have a slight or deep bend, depending. You just want to make sure the stomach is connected to the thighs. You want to make sure the neck is loose. We have a tendency to try to keep the head up, but let it go down. Look back toward the knees. Take a breath. And then inhale it up halfway. Exhale it down. Then we're going to inhale all the way up, getting a nice big stretch. And then forward fold it all the way back down, planting those hands, stepping back into a plank. And then chaturanga it down, taking all the way down to the mat or halfway, doesn't matter. And then wherever you get to, start to push up into an upward facing dog. So you're just getting a back bend, pushing up, letting the hips fall forward. And then push it back to a downward facing dog. So coming back up onto the toes, pushing the hips back, and looking back for the thighs. Big breaths, big inhale. And exhale. Again, another big breath. And release. And take one more big inhale, and as you exhale, start to walk the feet forward for that forward fold. Once you get there, come up for that half lift, big inhale up. Exhale, take it back down. Then inhale, reach it up. Getting your stretch, palms together and down to heart center as we focus on our mountain pose once again. Pressing firmly into the earth, lifting up through the body, big breath. Release. Again, keep breathing, lifting up through the entire body. One more big breath. Let it go. And inhale, take those arms up. Nice stretch, and forward fold it down. And go ahead and plant those hands and gradually step it back to the plank. Again, it's okay to modify if you need to come down to your knees. And then lower the body down, chaturanga, either all the way or halfway. And then push it up into the upward facing dog, getting a nice back bend. And then exhale it back into a downward facing dog, pushing those hips up and back. You can still bend the knees, be gentle on the hamstrings. Breathe. And take another deep breath. Again, take a breath. Now we're going to start to set up for warrior one on the right side. Before we move the right leg though, we're going to move the left one up just a little bit onto the mat, setting the heel down. And then we're going to step the right foot up to the opposite corner of the mat. Take a nice big step up to the opposite edge of the mat. Nice wide stance, but a short stance. And once you have that set up, take a big inhale and very slowly come up. Take your time, don't go too fast. And then once you get there, you can adjust your stance a little bit. If you want to make it a little wider, just make sure the hip stays square to the front of the mat, and then take your arms up. Big breath up. Another big breath, reaching up.
Pressing down with the exhale again, big breath up. And press it down, exhale. Then take another breath up. And this time you're going to bring the body down, forward folding. Bringing the hands down, then stepping the back foot up to meet the front for a forward fold. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it back down. Inhale, raise it up. Palms together and down to heart center. And take a couple breaths, once again pressing firmly into the mat, lifting up as you breathe in. Exhale, pressing it down. One more big breath. Release. Next inhale, you're going to take the arms up and start to bend the knees, keeping the chest lifted as we have a seat into chair. Kind of tuck the tailbone a little bit. Don't stick the booty out too far. Keep breathing. Little thigh activation, big inhales and exhales as we hold this for just a couple more breaths. Then next inhale, lift up, push those hips forward, lift the chest, get a little back bend. Exhale, fold it forward, planting the hands and stepping it into your plank pose. Chaturanga it down, lowering halfway or all the way to the mat, and then pushing up into that upward facing dog. Then back into the downward facing dog, hips going up and back. Breathe. Check in on the neck, make sure it's loose, maybe shake it no or nod it yes. Taking a few breaths in our down dog. Staying strong, activating that core. Breathing. Take one more big breath. Then we're going to start to come into warrior one on the left side. So before you move the left leg, first move the right. Stepping up just a little bit, half step, setting the heel down. And once you have that set, stepping the left foot up on the opposite corner of the mat a little bit farther up. Still a nice short stance. And then on an inhale breath, slowly, very slowly start to come up. Take your time with it. Once you get there, adjust your stance as needed. Again, making sure hips stay forward. Inhale, arms up. Press down with your exhale. Two more of those, big inhale up. Press it down. One more big breath. Exhale. Then inhale up again. Exhale, fold it forward, bringing the hands down and stepping the back foot up to meet the front for that forward fold. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale, brings it back down. And inhale, raise it all the way up. Nice big stretch, palms together and down to heart center. Pressing firmly into the mat, big inhale, stretch it up. Exhale, press it down. One more time, big inhale. And exhale. Then you'll inhale your arms up. We're gonna have another seat into chair, bending those knees, keeping the chest lifted. Keep breathing. You can go as deep as the body allows. Don't push yourself. Just breathe. Two more breaths, big inhale. Exhale it out. One more time, big inhale. And exhale. Then inhale it up, push lips forward, lift the chest, get a little back bend. And then exhale, fold it forward. We're gonna pause in this forward fold, keeping those knees a little bit bent, connecting stomach to thighs. Making sure the neck is loose, looking back to the knees. Breathe. Next inhale, you'll come up that halfway. Exhale it down. Inhale, reach it all the way up. Get your stretch. Palms together and down to heart center. Take a breath in mountain. Let it out. All All right, now we're going to practice a little bit of balancing. So I'm going to face you for this one. Start to press down into the left side. Pop the right knee up. Take the arms up. We're coming into knee raise. If this is already a little bit of a challenge for you balance-wise, you can just keep your foot there on the ground. If you need a little more, go ahead and raise that knee up. Find where your challenge is. Maybe you're just tapping the floor. Maybe you're holding it up steady. Challenge is wherever you find it. Just breathe up, breathing inhale. Exhale, let it go. And then wherever your knee raise is at, go ahead and pivot the knee out. We're going to come into tree, and again, tree can be wherever you want it, either having the foot up higher, lower, or kickstanding it at the bottom, wherever you need that balance challenge just for you. As I fall out of my own tree. Take a breath, press it down. And go ahead and bring that knee forward and let the foot find its stability on the earth, and forward fold it.
Inhale it up halfway.
Exhale it back down.
Then inhale, reach it up.
Nice stretch, palms together, down to heart center. And we're going to start to work on the other side. So start to press into the right leg, popping the left knee up. And again, if this is enough for you, just stay right here. But find your version of the knee raise on this side. It might be different than it was on the other side. Just breathe, lifting up, pressing it down. One more time, big breath. Exhale. And you can bring the knee out to the side, finding your tree on this side. Again, it could be different than it was on the other side. Just find where it feels good, whether it's kickstand or having that foot all the way up. Find your tree, big inhale. And exhale. Then go ahead and bring that knee forward and let the foot fall to the ground. And then we're going to forward fold it, bringing our body down.
Inhale it up halfway.
Exhale, lowers it.
Inhale, bring it all the way up.
Palms together and down to heart center. Now we're going to start to sink down to the mat to have a seat. If you want to try to come to toe stand, you just come up on the toes and sink down all the way to your heels. Try to sit on the heels. If you can't quite make it, that's okay. We're going down to the mat, so you can just find your way down. Having a seat and coming into butterfly. Feet are together, knees wide. Take an inhale and exhale, fold it forward. Find just where the stretch feels good and breathe. Couple more breaths. And slowly inhale it back up. Bring those knees together, put the feet out in front of you. You might need to adjust so that you're on the top of your sits bones. And then inhale the arms back up. Exhale, fold it forward, and you can bend your knees as you come forward. This is exactly the same as the forward fold we were doing earlier. We're sitting. So find where it feels good here. Breathe into the stretch. Big breath, big inhale. Release. One more time, big breath. Let it go. Then inhale yourself up. And start to bend those knees, planting the feet on the ground. We're going to play with a boat, getting some core activation. So you have some choices for boat because it can be a little hard on the lower back, so you want to be careful. You might leave your feet planted and then just lean back, getting until you feel the core activate, or maybe you have your hands planted and you raise your feet. Either way, that's fine, or you can keep the feet raised and raise the arms also, and then breathe. Another breath, big inhale. And exhale. One more time, big breath. Let it go. And we're gonna sink down, coming down through low boat, all the way down to the mat. And then once you get there, get a nice full body stretch, taking arms overhead.
Sometimes you have to move to make sure you're actually on your mat. And then once you get your stretch, you can bend the knees up toward your chest and hug them in nice and tight, drawing them in close. So you can really feel that spine on the mat. You can move side to side a little bit if you want to, massaging the spine, or stay still, whatever feels good. Whatever the case is, make sure you're breathing. And then start to take those feet straight up in the air for waterfall. So you have a lot of energy flowing through the feet. Feet are flexed. Keep them strong. Couple breaths. And slowly start to bend the knees in toward the chest. You can take your arms out to a T, and we're going to get a spinal twist. So take those knees over to one side, and you can look over the opposite shoulder. Find where this twist feels good. If it's too intense, you can come up off your shoulder a little bit, or if it's not intense enough, you can take the top leg off and extend it out. And just breathe. Breathe into the stretch. And take one more big inhale. And exhale, bring the knees back to center. Let the spine settle into the mat for a second. And then we're going to take the knees over to the other side, getting a twist the other direction. And again, adjust as you need to for this side. It could be different than the other side. Find where the twist feels good and breathe. Take one more big inhale and exhale, and start to bring the knees back to center, letting the spine settle into the mat once again. And take the feet back up into the air for waterfall, flexing those feet, lots of energy. Take a breath and start to bend the knees back in toward the chest. You're going to grab the outside edges of the feet. Knees are on the outside of the arms. And you're going to find where the stretch feels good here, pulling the feet up. And you can even rock side to side. Again, massaging that spine if it feels good. Find where the stretch feels good to you. Keep breathing. And take those feet back up into the air for waterfall. Feet strong, legs strong, lots of energy. Keep breathing. And then we're going to slowly lower the legs down to Savasana, staying strong, staying with the energy. If this does not feel good, on the back, bend the knees back in toward the chest and let the legs out one at a time, or however you need to as we come down into Savasana. Getting that final core activation. And then once the feet touch the mat, take another deep breath and let it go. Start to relax everything. Legs relaxed, feet falling out to the side. Hands can be face up or face down. You might put a hand on your stomach and chest if you'd like to feel a little bit more grounded. That's an option. Shut down the eyes and then start to do a little body scan. You'll start with the forehead. Make sure there's no tension in your brow. Jaw is unclenched. Shoulders are relaxing down into the mat. You feel your left and your right arm getting heavier. And through your torso, the body getting heavy, sinking into the mat. Legs are heavy, relaxing. And
And check in on the mind. You can choose your focus. You can choose to stay present, to be in the moment, to meditate on joy and peace. Any other thought that enters, you can acknowledge it, but then let it go, returning to your focus. You can stay here in this pose for a few more moments, and I will call us back here soon. Start to return to a deeper breath, bringing awareness to your airflow. And start to move fingers and toes, maybe circling wrists and ankles until you're ready for another full body stretch. And then bending the knees back in toward the chest. Roll it over to one side in the fetal position. Pause there for a second. And gradually start to push up into a seated position. And once you get there, take a nice deep breath. Take another deep breath, taking the breath low. Then on the next breath, arms come up. Touch the palms overhead and bring it down to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today in this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Namaste.